I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.
Hello and welcome to the Business Renovator. Today's episode is about, are you feeling stuck? I was feeling stuck until I got an email earlier this morning from a good friend of mine, Carl Bryant. But before we jump into that, here's a selfless plug from me to you. So if you'd ever like to find out what your business growth score is, we have a complimentary assessment. There's no credit card required. You just would go to coachphil.ca, and on there's a link to the business growth score, or if you've got time to write this longer one down, business growth philjilks.scoreapp.com. Probably the easiest one though is go to coachphil.ca. Again, it's free, complimentary. If you have a inkling to find out where you are and want to have an assessment, by all means. And if you feel compelled to have a conversation around the results of your assessment, happy to make that happen. Again, a 20-minute coaching session, no credit card required. Answer some questions for you and carry on from there. Anyway, are you feeling stuck? Do you ever feel stuck? Email that popped into my inbox this morning from Carl Bryan. And I was feeling stuck. I actually haven't produced a couple of shows. I took a week off and it was hard to get going. Not that I don't like the show, I do, but I was feeling kind of stuck. It was kind of that transition between spring and summer and warm weather and rainy weather, and mindset was stuck a little bit. So there's been a number of things that showed up that stuck, and one of them was this email from Carl, and he was talking about Mel Fisher. Now, Mel Fisher, for 17 years, he was stuck on a dream, on a vision. And apparently, according to the inbox email I got from Carl today, over the last 17 years, Mel Fisher, he lost his son, lost his daughter-in-law, lost 2 wives, lost his fortune, lost more friends than he can count because they wrote him off as a nutcase. And that's not the word that Carl used, but I'm not plagiarizing everything, just 98% of it. It was such a good email, Carl. But what he didn't lose was his will to keep going. That's what I wanted to talk to me and you today about, is if you're feeling stuck, that's okay. That happens. Just push through it. Well, it's more than just pushing through it. There's a meme on my monitor, which I didn't have open for you this morning, but it's from Steve Jobs. And he says, if you go after something that you really want to do, you won't have to be pushed into doing it. The vision, the reason for doing it, your why, as Simon Sinek says, or in the earlier writings in around that kind of stuff, is in Napoleon Hill's work, he talks about major definite purpose. So if you have that, even if it doesn't have to be life-altering, changing, but some reason to get up. So for me, one of the reasons to get up is to do the Business Renovator. And when I was missing it last week, it took me for a tailspin and it got me stuck. I actually really miss sharing some insights and having some terrific guests on a frequent basis. So I'm looking forward to what's coming up in June. So if you are looking for some interesting characters to learn from, make sure you're hanging out with us on the Business Renovator. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Wednesdays and Fridays, typically we have a guest. However, let's get back to this inbox email from my friend Carl. And Carl's got a bit of a strange bit of humor, and he was talking about well, here's a Johnny Depp joke. He says, speaking of Johnny Depp being the first man in history to win an argument with his wife, ha ha ha. So it goes on. It says, so Carl and his wife were at the supermarket on the weekend and had a situation. He says, I found the most beautiful woman I could find and to hear in the grocery store to have a conversation. He went up to her and he says, I've lost my wife. Will you talk to me for a few minutes? The beautiful woman looked puzzled and said, why do you want to talk to me? He says, because every time I talk to a beautiful woman, my wife appears out of nowhere. Ta-da! It's not my joke, it's Carl's. So humor can help get you unstuck. Good or bad humor, it doesn't matter. Or you can have friends like Randy Chaffee show up and wish you good morning. That helps you get unstuck. People you hang out with, the things you read, the things you do. So let's get back to Mel Fisher. Mel Fisher was on a hunt for a buried treasure, a sunken treasure, actually. And if you wanted to look him up, he's on Wikipedia. There's a whole list of the things that he's gone after. But the synopsis of what Carl had written in his email was Mel Fisher had three central beliefs, not three, but three central beliefs. And that is, it was there, something to go after, some purpose, some reason why, that he could find, do, and have. So be, do, and have, same sort of thing, right? It's something to get you out of bed in the morning, something to look forward to. And it's not necessarily about financial gains, although for some people that could be it. Because if you have financial gains, you're able to help more people if that's where you want to go with it. But whatever it is you want to do, be, and have, health, wealth, relationships, career, vocation, and having an idea that when you get to the end, it will be worth it. And whether it is or not, it really doesn't matter. It's an aside. Ideally, it should matter. But just think of the person you've become because of the things you've gone through to go after what you believed was important for you to go do. So if you're feeling stuck with your business, your life, do you believe in what you're doing? Do you believe there's people you can help out there? Do you believe you can find them? Do you believe you can inspire them, convince them? Can you help them? Do you believe it'll be worth it? Now, there's the key. If it's not worth it, you won't do it. So way back when I started this business in the early 90s, I'd heard of a concept, a principle, and it is, if you know what you want and why you want it, and stifle the how, and stick to the end result in terms of the vision you have in mind, the outcome you're attempting to grow into, experience, you can have more of a life than any other possible way. And the person that introduced that to me was a fellow who was a high school football coach, and not a very good one. Those are his words, out of Seattle, Washington. And him and his wife built a business and raised 19 adopted and foster children along the way, and had an impact around the globe as far south as South Africa, as far, well, I guess even Australia, helped with the Irish Catholics and Protestants stop killing each other, harming each other, and a whole bunch of other things. People on welfare get off welfare, people reduce the recidivism in the U.S. penal system, and on and on and on. So if you're feeling stuck, maybe go help somebody. Add value to somebody else's life. So something else I was reminded of today, not in Carl's email, but in another podcast I listened to earlier this morning. So if you're feeling stuck, the way to get unstuck is to serve others, basically having an end result that you're looking forward to, believing in yourself, even when you don't feel like it some days maybe. Work with others, not for others. There's one of my favorite banners up here. I'm just looking for this other one that's really ties into this. I times V equals R. So if you've got your image, your imagination of what the outcome is, times the vividness of it will create your reality. So if you're feeling stuck, what would it look like on the other side of your stuckness? What would you do? What could you be? And how would it feel when you're doing 180? And the other thing that came to me listening and reading and studying, because I'm a nut for learning from other people's experiences. It's just the an exciting journey. It's one of the benefits I have for having the terrific people I've had on the Business Renovator show as guests. I'm looking forward to what's coming up this summer. But we're all in the BS business, and let's believe it before you see it. You can't see it before you believe it. Can't achieve it before you believe it. So that's basically what I got out of the inbox email from Carl Bryant today. So what he was talking about, also to bring that into real context for us, it says many business owners can't commit to 17 minutes, let alone 17 years, whereas Mel Fisher was able to do a 17-minute or 17-year stick-to-itiveness. Oh, there's another one. It's in my banners here. Let me share that one too. It's our get-to-itiveness and our stick-to-itiveness. This is a quote from Worse and Sweat Martin, one of the forefathers in the personal development space, writing books and teaching people way back then, way before the internet. And you know, the magic of the 17, I had a guest on here, Michael Heppel, and he wrote a book called 17, and it's an interesting story how he came about that. And I found that the 17-minute or 17 factor that Michael introduced me to and many others is a powerful way to get more stuff done. What Michael prescribes is that if you were to take 17 minutes and do something that you are procrastinating on, one of the things he talks about, or for as an example, is if you're in the thought process of writing a book and you get stuck, he says, write for 17 minutes, just write. He says, you can't write crap for 17 minutes. You'll get one or two ideas out of there. Another place where I found it to get me unstuck and get me moving forward is if I've had a project to work on and it seems daunting, I'll maybe 17 minutes is too short of a period of time to have focused effort and concentration. So I double it up. I go 34 minutes and I take a break after the 34 minutes. What's surprising to me in my stuckness is that by having the 34-minute window, and I actually put a timer on, I have another iPhone that I use just for timing, and put it on for 34 minutes. I find that I get more done in the 34 minutes than if I hadn't have done it. Because the stories we tell ourselves, the reasons why it can't happen, all the excuses that come up from our saboteur minds, that's another story I could talk about. One way to get unstuck is to pay attention to our possibility mindset, which is our sageness, versus our saboteurs. Our saboteurs come from the fight-flight mechanism in our subconscious, and their job is to maintain our sanity and keep us who we see ourselves as. And anytime we step out of that, our saboteurs will come up and strongly try to convince us, and sometimes they do convince us to be stuck. So it's in that place of stuckness where there's opportunity for growth. So I was feeling stuck for a little bit, and maybe a week, and now I'm feeling less stuck. So if you like this episode, if you know of somebody who would benefit from it, please do a couple of things. Share it out. That would be brilliant. And if you're watching this on a replay, can't watch it live, hashtag replay, let us know where you're watching in from. And if you would like to be a guest or know somebody would be an interesting person to have a conversation in around 3 pillars, which is sales, marketing, and mental fitness, or a combination of all 3, I'd welcome the opportunity for the introduction and continue to think like a winner and expect to win. And that's another way to become unstuck. Oh, here's a quote from Brian Tracy. I'm full of quotes today. Look at this. Think like a winner, expect to win. Something I got, here's another one I like. Yes, taking that from the improv world. Yes, you expect success. YES. I got that from a wonderful individual who's very creative, Mr. Hazel. Anyway, I want you all to go out and be your best self. And the way to do that is to remind yourself that you truly are wonderful. And the you in wonderful is deliberate because it represents you and your uniqueness. So go out and just be yourself, your unique, wonderful self. Till next time, I'm Coach Phil.
I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm brave.